Hello, I'm recording this on February 19th, 2025, and that means two things. There is exactly one way to stand on a street corner and shout no at everyone who goes by, and 1,000 ways to offer solutions. This is the Darkness News Update brought to you by the National Association of Innovative Independent Lighting Distributors. They've been backing this series and this foundation from the start, and I'm tremendously grateful to them for offering all of us a chance to really just explore how lighting and design can improve the built environment vis-a-vis light at night. But let's get into the news, starting with a study from l'Institut Pasteur de Lille, which has found that circadian disruption has been linked with obesity in mice, which carries forward to bigger mammals like people. But the other thing they discovered is that if you restrict feeding times for disrupted mice, and possibly disrupted people or marmots or any other mammal, time-restricted feeding could also improve weight loss. So there's a way out. We have a new study that confirms that certain vaccines, specifically the win-the-skin immune system trick type vaccines that are used for Parkinson's disease, do benefit from being timed. The dosage benefits from being timed with the circadian rhythms. So if you're already active and receiving the vaccine, your Parkinson's symptoms will be diminished that much more just by virtue of timing. Great. Light pollution has been linked with breast cancer. This is a study of, this is another study from France, but it shows that 5,500 cancer diagnoses have been charted against light levels, and that when you compare them, that, people who receive more light at night also have an indication of developing breast cancer. A Stanford Med survey of 75,000 people found that people who go to bed late also experience poor mental health outcomes from this. This is this might be some lark propaganda, I'll say, but for us night owls, even when we can adjust our day to align with our chronotype, it might not be the best thing. We might need something else going on. A study of patients in recovery from coronary surgery found that patient outcomes do better if nursing interventions, regular nursing interventions, changing bandages, changing saline bags, changing anything, any time a nurse has to interact with a surgery patient in recovery from a coronary surgery, has found that those outcomes do improve if the timing of those nursing interventions occurs alongside circadian rhythm. This is a small study, only 44 patients total, but it is interesting. A survey of 300 Japanese teens has found that poor sleep makes their perimenstrual symptoms worse, so that if they hadn't slept well or they slept off cycle, their premenstrual and postmenstrual pain and concentration levels were just overall worse. This probably carries forward to a bunch of people. Otherwise, a survey of UK drivers has found that they feel less safe now that LED headlights are the norm, never mind how pedestrians feel about it. Alan, anthropogenic light at night, is changing fly habits at night, and that's bad. waterborne flies are undergoing their larval state underwater, and they are less likely to emerge if the area that they were laid in and went through their larval state is brightly lit, and they are more likely, if they hatch, they are more likely to stay near those light sources after they hatch, and that just exposes them to predation. A study of European tree frogs being kept under light all night has found that they get bigger. They get bigger during their tadpole phase. They get bigger during their intermediate phase, and they also get bigger during their full-on frog phase. And what that means is that they suffer lipid damage as long as they are exposed to light at night. We have a new study that shows that light from the cleanup crews of the Deepwater Horizon spill led to corals in the same area spawning out of season, and that was bad for all the corals in that area. We also have a study showing that circadian rhythm has been linked with epigenetics in sea bass, so that the timing of lighting affects their feeding and their liver function, and that extending their understanding of daytime is bad for them. Japanese rice fish do need darkness for reproductive activity, with their courting rituals peaking around 3 a.m., assuming that they don't have too much light at night. LEED, the Building Consortium for Environmental Friendliness, has updated their rules for bird safety. And while they're better, there are conservationists from the Audubon Society saying that perhaps the rules need to be even more strict to secure the safety of migratory birds. A lighting company called Glamux has shown off a new bird-safe green LED. This isn't an endorsement, but it is interesting, but it is a device that emits very green LED light, specifically for offshore facilities, whether that's offshore oil rigs or offshore wind farms, but they are intended not to distract seabirds as they go about their business and keep them safe. IKEA has published a sleep study. This is the furniture vendor consulting a bunch of customers, finding, and this is across a bunch of countries, not just Sweden or North America or anywhere else, but they have found that internationally, a notable fraction, 28% of their customers report poor sleep, 18% feel tired all day, and what they recommend is buying IKEA products, and also a bunch of common sense things about sleep. But it's important to note that a very popular furniture vendor cares about your sleep. Landes-Gascons Regional Natural Park in France has been recognized by the DSI. They are a reserve grade spot. This is the 6th for France. They cover a region in the southwest of France in the Nouvelle Aquitaine region. They cover 315,000 hectares, or 780,000 acres. The DSI has also recognized Tahuna Glenorchy, New Zealand, as a sanctuary. This covers 200,000 hectares on the South Island. The two municipalities nearby that region are also working for community status. In Poland, Gdansk is working to tackle their light pollution issues. The local university, the Gdansk University of Technology, has begun working with city officials, both elected and just expert bureaucrats and civil servants, to survey local lighting, The civic platform has motioned the mayor for a full, comprehensive light pollution plan that would eliminate a lot of the problems of light pollution in the city. Norfolk County, Ontario, has recapped the past few years of lighting bylaw enforcement against cannabis growers with $800,000 of lighting violations being fined, and 27% of those fines being collected already over 5 years. That's great. Westport, Connecticut has debated the brightness levels at sports fields. Mostly the debate concerns pole placement for school sports fields, especially for girls' sports at the high school level. The meeting minutes from town council are pretty harsh. Linden, Michigan is too bright, according to residents. They did present to town's council asking for the zoning commission to propose new lighting regulations. In the UK, Taprock Ridge is going to host a Dark Skies lecture on the 5th of March. The city council will be hosting light pollution and its effects on birds, wildlife, and human health, and that might change the local council's mind about lighting regulations. In Florida, they celebrated Dark Skies at Everglades National Park throughout the entire month of February at 3 locations at the South Florida National Park. There were nightly events. Some of them were just walks. Some of them were full presentations, but they did enjoy a series of advocate meetings to benefit locals about dark skies. In Colorado, Breckenridge and Frisco counties will be moving ahead with dark sky programs. We have more lighting planned for the San Luis, Arizona border. This covers about 1 mile. Mostly, it's just razor wire. Right now, the border is just covered in razor wire, and they're planning on adding lighting to that. The Grand Canyon National Park has welcomed Stephen Hummel as their astronomer in residence. In Salt Lake City, a drone company is offering drone-based light shows for gender reveal parties. Yeah, that's just a thing. I don't know what else to say about it. Dark sky tourism is on the rise in the Australian outback, with small towns in Queensland province figuring out how to support that as that goes on. We have a study from the University of Georgia finding that light at night can be used to measure economic progress in South Asia and Africa. Developing nations, you can correlate their level of general wealth, GDP, and the availability of street lighting, even if that street lighting isn't great. The Hong Kong Polytechnic University has taken a bunch of data from space using lighting observed from satellites and found that since 2017, covering 10 hurricanes across 446 counties in the U.S. Gulf Coast, and found that FEMA reactions to disasters in that region based on what streetlights turn on when reflects general American inequality geographically. Yeah, George Bush doesn't care about black people, and you can see it from space, is what I'm saying. Lastly, Punxsutawney Phil is kept in a situation that uses artificial lighting to keep his hibernation impulse suppressed. This magical rodent who predicts the weather 27% of the time is not allowed to sleep in order to maintain the terrible record of weather prediction. Anyway, I've been Scott Wachter. Thank you to Nailed. Thank you for your time, for your attention. Take care of yourself. See you soon.